Hey, it's Soleil, and this is episode OMG of the Orange Pill Investor. I think it's 288. It doesn't really matter. And the the train is leaving the fucking station. So um, I'm in a little bit of a hurry. I didn't even fuck with the intro music today while I'm figuring my shit out. I've got to get to the gym. Like I got to walk the dogs first. Get to the gym so I can get on the road. I'll be recording with Tim Kotzman today, so that is freaking exciting. Is it 288? Let me look and see. I think it's 288. Yep. All right, let's see if I can. Okay, good. Let's see. The YouTube 288 is live as well. Good morning, Dale. And let's get all this stuff situated. What's up, J64? Let's go. 500, what a week is right. Chris said, looking forward to your conversation with Tim. Me too. It's it's nerve wracking. It's going great, Adam. How could it be going any other way on a morning like this? So, got to make this a quick one, but just a week or two ago, my account had basically tripled or quadrupled from like March. And within the last couple of weeks, it's like doubled since then. So this shit is crazy. And I couldn't be happier that my strikes on these few covered calls are getting absolutely demolished. I'm going to have to pay through the nose to roll them. And it is going to be the happiest I have ever been to roll a covered call. So I got like three of these bad boys, got paid 1,200 for each one. If I rolled them today, it would cost me 16,000 each. And because I have so much unlimited upside in these long calls, it just doesn't matter. Not that one, this one. So, would I be up an extra 16 times 4, $64,000 if I didn't take a chance and sell these covered calls? Yes, absolutely. And that's why people tried to warn me, right? I would have, if I didn't see Quant Bros 1, I'd have 20 covered calls on here. And I would just be, my account would be like half the size it is. Even Josh Mandel DM'd me one time. He's like, "Hey, you might want to you might want to take it easy with the covered calls because this could seriously limit your upside." And he was absolutely right on these. But at the same time, there's 30 days left to go. I don't feel any. There's no panic like I'll have to hurry up and roll these. And the decision making metric that I use is I basically just calculate the extrinsic value, and if there's anything worth holding this onto this for, then I sit and do nothing. The way to figure out the extrinsic value on an in the money call is subtracting the strike from the share price. I sold the 350s. These are now 487s. So that's 137. And the value on these is let's just say 167, because that's pretty easy math. 137 to 167. So that's 330. So that's, yeah, $3,000 worth of extrinsic value. Now, that's not a lot compared to the total price, but if I roll these now, I have to pay to roll all the extrinsic value as well. And I can just sit and let these expire excuse me, I can either let shares get called away or I can wait until the very last minute, and the only thing I'll have to pay is the intrinsic value. Now, if MSTR runs to fucking 550, the intrinsic value is going to be insane, and this just keep running up and running up and running up. But I think what most people don't understand is they're like, oh, I'll just roll this out to 500. And they pay the extrinsic value and the intrinsic value to run to 500, and then it goes to 550, and they just have to do it anyway. So these are losers. They were losers when I opened the contracts 14 days ago. There, that's when you manage the risk. So you're either gonna make a winning trade or a losing trade when you open the damn thing. Once this is set in motion and it's a loser, it's just kind of a loser forever. There's no saving it. So I don't really try. I always have a plan for what I'm going to do when I open a trade. I don't figure out what my plan is going to be when the price is 500 a share and I have to decide whether I want to pay $15,000 to roll it or not. I already know what I'm going to do. And I will either sell some long calls to pay for the roll if I don't want my shares called away, or I'll just let the shares get called away. And at the same time, I can always roll this for some type of credit. It's not going to be enough credit probably to offset the entire cost of this, but I mean, it's at least a little something. Like, let's just see. If I did try to roll this now, roll expirations, right? I want to roll expirations and I'm just desperate, so I'm going to roll out to 60. Even rolling out to at the money, I'd still have to pay $3,000. So I don't bother with this. I just sit and wait. However, check this shit out. So I had to like sign out and sign back in because I was like, all right, this must have like overnight overnight trading numbers are in here. So the maximum IV rank that is even technically possible, from what I understand, and I just went to Tasty Trades articles to confirm, an IV rank goes from 0 to 100. So this 127.5, like MicroStrategy's fucking implied volatility broke the freaking metric. This should not be possible. The way that IV rank works is you take the high and the low IV rank over the last year, and then it's ranked from 0 to 100, how close it is to the 0 or how close it is to the highest IV rank. So today should be the highest IV rank, so it should be 100. Like, you can't go over 100, and somehow MicroStrategy MicroStrategy's implied vol gave MSTR a freaking 404 error, and it just doesn't even know how to calculate it, right? It's like when your calculator gives you just an E. It doesn't know what to do. Try to divide by 0 or some shit. So that's weird. And let's see. So I've got, okay, that's going to be interesting. So I've got the 4 covered calls, right? These are all in the money. And I opened, good lord. Did I open 2 yesterday? Oh no, I had one and I opened another one. And these are already upside down. So I'm just going back to the well. I'm going to go with a December 27th. And yeah, I've got 2 of the 760s. Oh, God. And now they've got the 890s. I'm sure these will be safe. So this is just ridiculous at this point. And the fact that they're freaking 0.27 deltas, like, they're assuming, okay, there's about a 30% chance these will actually go in the money and I'll get wrecked. If if MicroStrategy is at 890 and this gets called away, all of my uncovered all of my uncovered leaps and long calls will basically just, I mean, I'm already in like quit mode, but this will be insane. So, gonna tempt fate once again and collect. God damn, that's loud. How do I do that every time? All right, let's take a look at this again. Like this is a covered call seller's dream. To Ivy rank at a freaking 100. So, um, something like this I kind of can't ignore, but like, you know, I guess there's a 30% chance I get wrecked on these as well. So, please let that happen. I would love nothing more than for that to happen. I do still have $18,000 in margin, and I've got about $110,000 in outside debt not connected to MicroStrategy. So okay, so this is insane. The Januaries that I was a little bit nervous about buying are in the frickin' money. This is, what were these, 480s? Is that 480 or 460? Get my glasses. Okay, 460. All right. I've got 5 of these, and the delta weight on these is 328. So that's 65.65 delta on each one of these. These are like almost ready for me to sell covered calls against. Like I could probably actually get away with it. Like the 880s that I or 890s that I just sold could probably, these could probably cover that as my collateral. I could do the math on it, but it's pretty crazy. Which reminds me, should I peel off another bit of profit here? I mean, I bought these for 5, and this is a 20x. So that just makes sense. Just one. Let's just sell one. Cha-ching. That took off. I have like almost no margin left. This is, you might as well just say I have no margin, because the amount of margin here compared to the account size, like MicroStrategy could go to 150 a share and I wouldn't get a margin call at this point. So I have a shitload of leverage risk, but I basically have no, 0.1 margin risk at this point. What was the, oh yeah, the call debit spread that I have for this week? Here it is. So I opened this. This cost me about $800. And let's just see what it's worth if I close this position right now. 6 grand. So 8 times 8 would be 64. So it's like a 7x. The most that this could do is about a 10x. And it's Wednesday. So I can capture almost the entire profit in 2 trading days. So why would I hold it for 2 more trading days to try to squeeze another 2 grand out of this? That doesn't make any damn sense. So we're closing this. We might be margin free by the end of the day at this point. $1,000 in margin. Okay. Well, my goal was to get margin free by like the end of 2025, and apparently I'm doing it by the end of 2024. And I mean, there's going to be some dips, right? I mean, it's not just number go up technology forever. This, you know, we did a 4x here and we hit some resistance, and then we had a 50% drawdown. So this has got to hit resistance sometime, right? Right. I mean, it's just it could it could go much higher though. So it's about the same amount of trade volume as we had on these massive pumps here. But I don't know. I don't fricking know. Okay, and so it needs to be said, and I'm gonna say it on the next micro MSTR True North call. I won't be there tonight because I'll be on the road back from New York filming with Tim. But Jeff famously exited the GameStop position when he noticed that the sentiment changed. And I think it's important that people that watch me and watch the True North show understand that you can't just expect to get like trade alert, we've reached the top, everybody hurry up and sell and take profits. There's no guarantee that there should be no expectation that it's just going to be all laid out on a silver platter. So people have to take their own profits when it makes sense for them. Or if you are positioned in such a way that you never have to take profits and this is a 10-year hold for you, great. If you can hold through the 4x minus by a 50% drawdown, and then we get a frickin' Jesus from 50. This is basically a 10x from March. If you can just gut it out, with your Bitcoin forged diamond hands, if you can just gut out, like if this goes back to 250, right? If 500 is the top and you can gut it out to 250, and then we trade in a range like this, if you can handle that, then of course buy and hold. But I really like what Grain said. When you get life changing money, he likes to trim 20% off the top, treat yourself, treat your family, just book those profits and sleep good at night. So if people were margined to the gills like I was over the past 6 months, and you're wondering whether you should fucking YOLO and just tempt fate again and again and again, I can't give financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm unwinding risk. I fully expect MicroStrategy to be double today's value in a year. I don't want to call it like bear case. I don't do valuations. I don't even know how to do valuations. So I don't do price targets and all of that crap. But just the number in my head is double this, right? So it's not that I'm bearish. I'm bullish as fuck, but everybody needs to manage their own risk. No one is going to hold your hand and tell you exactly when is the perfect time to take profits or to, book your generational wealth. And if you can't stomach 200 back down to 100, then please adjust your position sizes to your risk tolerances. Um, 6 months ago, when I was just pure option seller, actually, it's probably more than like 9 months to a year ago, I'd be loaded up with 20 covered calls right now. But I can't bring myself to do it. I can't bring myself to add more than one 890 strike at the top of the chain. And that's pretty crazy. And even that, I got paid what? I got paid 3,800. If I got 1% of MicroStrategy's value, that would be 400. So I got paid, good God, 4 times 9 is 36. So I got like 9% returns on the collateral, and I've got almost a double call away value. This is an option seller's dream, but at the same time, it could completely go in the money. I am totally not discounting. I'm not saying like, oh God, 890 is so safe. Like I would have been more than happy to sell to sell the 950s or the 1,000 strikes, but they're not available. They don't fricking exist. All right. So I closed my risky call debit spread for this week, right? Yeah. So I like that. I still have four. I accidentally sold one of these yesterday. I bought these for 500, I think. So let's see what I could. Yeah, I could basically double up on the Januaries. But I don't think I'm really interested in that. I've already booked enough profits that even if those all go to zero, kind of fine with that. So if it's not over 660 by January, I'm pretty much okay with just taking an L on these, but it wouldn't surprise me if they go in the money. So I could easily 20x each one of these. Maybe not 20x, maybe 15. If it gets to 15x, I probably would be very tempted to close these positions. This is insane. My Aprils, so my plan on the Aprils is to roll these every, like when they get down to 90 days to expiration, but I can already 10x these things. I know I said you're supposed to know what your plan is when you open a trade, but my plan was to wait until 90 days to expiration to roll these every 90 days throughout 2025 and maybe just decide to exercise or take profits in October. But I can already take a 10x on these. The problem is, and somebody posted it, they're like, well, if you sell your MicroStrategy, what are you going to buy? And they're like, yeah, exactly. And my response is I will be using Tesla as a pairs trade. So I will be buying in a bunch of Tesla in 2025, but I didn't expect to be doing it now. I want to capture all of my MicroStrategy upside now. So, but booking a 10x profit, let me see if I close one, that's 16 grand. So how many do I need to close? I need to close 3 of them to buy 100 shares. Let me see. Yeah. So I kind of like that. So if I book some profits in the leverage, but you know what? Why don't I do it with the, do I have enough to do it on these? These are worth 10 grand a pop. So yeah, let me close these. I need to close like 5 of them, and I can just buy shares. Maybe I'll do 4. And then I'll I'll ape back into a little bit of margin maybe. Okay. So now I have no margin. So let's buy. I know I'm buying 100 shares of MicroStrategy at the top. I get it. But I'm selling leverage at the top. That's only going to reduce my buying power by 26. So I may not like that. I might be getting back into margin again. We'll see. Of course, I didn't get a fill. So let's try to pay a little more. All right. Let's see what happened to my margin use. Okay. I'm only at 6,000 in margin. So I like that. I sold leverage high, and I used that at kind of like a pairs trade within MicroStrategy of itself. If you knew the future, you'd buy long calls here and you'd sell them at the top here. And then you'd buy long calls here and you'd sell the top here. And you'd buy long calls here and you'd sell the top here. So because cash is trash, I don't want to just sit with frickin' cash in my account. Like, this buying power is fake, right? MicroStrategy's, or excuse me, Tastytrade's telling me I've got a $500,000 of buying power, but that's a lie. I actually have negative money. I'm using 6,000 in margin. So this is not cash. This is fake news here. So, just be careful in a margin account. They're going to blow smoke up your ass, and if you're not paying attention to the real numbers, you can completely get wrecked here. So, I love this. This puts me, back closer to getting back to my, I want to end 2025 with probably 3,000 shares of MicroStrategy, and then just hodl through the bear market if it comes. So, quick look at the 5K account. This shit is stupid. So, I did the 5K account in March, and this MicroStrategy long call is now a little bit in the money. As soon as this gets to like a 0.7, oh shit, it is a 0.7 delta. That's wild. All right. Okay. Let's sell a covered call against it if I can make this work. A safe, quote unquote, safe. There's nothing safe in the stock market. The way to figure out a poor man's covered call is you take the short strike, you subtract the long strike, add the premium you're getting paid, and that should be more than the call is worth. So I'm gonna have to go way out on this one. If I sell, oops, not that way. If I sell the 890 strike and I subtract the 450 strike from that, that's $440. If I get paid another 40, that's 480, and 480 has to be greater than the cost of this option. Okay, so that doesn't even sound like I did my math right, but I think it is. Short strike minus the long strike. 890 minus 450 is 440, plus the 40 I'm getting paid is 480. So this is like, yeah, let me put the other one in. If I was going to be placing this all in one, it's April, right? April 450s. All right. If I was going to do this all in one trade, just want to see the graph. When you're constructing a poor man's covered call, the graph should have all of this green here. You can see that the line starts to go down, and you don't want to see the possibility of any red over here. Now, eventually, if we map this out and MicroStrategy got to like, I don't know, $5,000 a share by the expiration, like there's a chance I could lose money on this. But this is positioned pretty freaking well. Like, this doesn't start to lose money until the price of MicroStrategy gets to 900 a share, and then even at 1,000, 1,100 a share, it's still in profit. So this is pretty fine. This is fine. And let's just see if it'll get filled. And this is basically my strategy for these long calls that go in the money. Once they qualify to sell covered calls against, I will just sell covered calls against them until my strikes go in the money, and that's my exit strategy. I don't need to sit there and figure out, oh, When should I exit a position? Well, I'm exiting a position when my strikes are breached. I think that just makes it easy mode, profit taking, mechanical, emotionless decision making. So now I've got $4,000 of buying power added to this account. Shouldn't have any margin use at this point. Yeah. So what do I do with the money? Let's take $4,000. What's CLSK trading for? Let's sell 3 cash secured puts with the money. This is kind of the name of the game from my option seller's perspective. I want my account size to reach a point where I reach critical mass, where I'm able to sell options with such a high premium that I can then afford to buy multiples of 100 shares of something else and then collect additional premium on there. It kind of turns your returns from an additive calculation, like 1% a week is 52% a year. But once you start making 1% on 1%, 1%, and just reinvesting all of the profits, the returns end up becoming more like compound interest. So let's do 3 of these and spend the 3 grand that I just collected. There we go. So if CLSK falls below 13, I will get assigned 300 shares, and then I will just go right back to step 2 of the wheel. And I'm going to check these chats real quick, but I might not be able to answer all the questions today. I got to get a workout in and get on the road. Actually, it's 10 o'clock. I might just have to get on the road soon. Anyway, all right, so let's check this out. Uh, AI Gone Wrong says IVR goes over 100. Coin is over 100 today as well. Forgot the reason justification for not changing IVR. Yeah, I just don't think they're calculating it properly. It's just not working. Clear your leverage, absolutely. AI says, what's your buying power at if you are already using margin? What is the preferred ideal buying power? I think Tasty Live says 50%. In a margin account, yeah, I don't know. The buying power is just all fake. Um, you got to look at your margin usage, right? They're telling me I have a half a million in buying power, but I'm already have more positions than I should. In a cash account, I wouldn't even be able to hold this many positions, and they're telling me I can spend another half million. That's not correct. So if MSTR crashes 50%, this buying power would collapse to negative numbers probably. So this is the real number on Tasty Trade. I have negative $6,000. Even though they'll let me buy a metric ass ton of positions with this based on the risk and all their little algorithms and whatnot. But that ain't what it is. Build says just sold your Nvidia Leap. Unsure what earnings will show, and I don't think they delivered on Blackwell. Yeah, I was worried about Nvidia because I felt like there was just a Chinese invasion risk. But I think they've got a plant in the United States now, or somewhere else in the country in the world. So that mitigates that risk a little bit. But Nvidia never made sense to me when they could literally go to zero overnight if China invades. I don't know what the likelihood of that would be, but oh, Gun says turn up voice volume. Well, I guess I should have been looking at the chat earlier because too late now. Video's over. Adam says we all found Quant Bros at the right time. Damn straight. 500 says market makers are fumbling. Yeah, monkey's fucking a football for sure. my, mine Bitcoin says, well said. I'm switching from one ply to two ply toilet paper. I have finally made it in life. Yeah, I've got my gym shorts are basically fucking see through at this point. So yeah, I might have to go and buy a couple of new pairs of gym shorts too. All right, Rickster says MSTR options, both sides going up? Question mark. Both sides going up. You mean calls and puts? I don't understand that question. All right, this is the last. This is the last one I'm gonna take. I gotta get the fuck out of here. Yaroslav says, "Why not sell puts to collect premiums?" This question came up on Grain's call the other day too. Look, I'm an option seller. I love nothing more than to sell cash secured puts, and the premium is stupid, stupid good. 48,000 in collateral, and you can collect. Let me just do this right here. At the money, 2 days from now, you can collect, let's see, 1% would be 477. So what, 6% for half a week? The premiums are out of control. So a year ago, I would be licking my lips at this. I would just be smash selling cash secured puts. The problem is, if you can afford to sell 10 of these, right? Let's say you're balling or whatever, and you got a half a mil, and you're like, okay, 10 cash secured puts, you make all that money. Well, next week the price is 600 a share, and you can only afford to sell 8 cash secured puts. And then it's 800, 900 a share, and you can only sell 5 cash secured puts. And the price is a friggin' thousand a share, and you're like, oh shit, I can only sell one cash secured put. But if I had long calls or even just owned the shares, instead of being up 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%, you'd be up frickin' 200%. So eventually, even though these premiums are absolutely ridiculous, if the price runs, then you just will eventually not be able to afford these. That's what limited upside means, right? So yeah, Jake says can't see your trades on the iPad. It's too pixeled. Yeah, I may have to adjust the resolution here, but hell, it's too small for me to even read sometimes. But I've got to go. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and be good, y'all.